Good morning, Rabbi Sai. L'ilui nishmas imi mirov sirus vas Mordechai. We don't want to wake up anybody in the house. We want to shalom bayis. V'day l'chakima b'remiza. My wife told me last night. She said she was more scared when we said than when the sirens went on. And I said, try to. So I'm a Kabbalah. Picture yourself, you're sleeping, everything's good. All of a sudden you hear a bunch of men in the downstairs, and then they do it again, especially Mendy. I don't know what he was thinking yesterday. Shkoyach. Thank you for coming. We are here. Now we can talk normal. We're here in another day of Nisim Gluyim. Nisim Gluyim. Whoever opens their eyes could see Nisim Gluyim. We had one of the biggest Nisim of our generation, the beeper nice, the beepers. Mamish Nisim. But came out every day, there's another Ness. They know exactly where these scientists are, and they one after another, 20, 30 of them, bye-bye, next. And weiter. To have, I said yesterday in the Hebrew Shir, I think it's Pashat, but I'll just do Chazara. I was thinking about it, and Noam said yesterday in Shir that Corona was terrible. We know, he pointed this out. Corona was very, very, very bad, but it brought us. We saw a Yeshua from within the Ra. You saw the Toiv, and it caused thousands and thousands of people to learn Torah over the internet, over Zoom, over this, and our share grew tremendously because of Corona. No, I'm not saying that's why, but you could see the good within the bad. One of the worst things that we had in our lifetime was October 7th. But if you think about it, without October 7th, we wouldn't be here today. Bichlal not. Why? Because we had so many enemies surrounding us. I'm saying, of course, Kosh Baruch Hu do Nisim and this and that. Kosh Baruch Hu set the ground. What happened was, we took care of Hamas every day. Remember, thousands of missiles every day. And they went on for weeks and weeks, missiles and missiles. Then you had this guy called Hezbollah, sitting there with, they said, 150,000 missiles. And Iran built it as a protection, as a ring of protection, that if today, what we did this week happens, so then we're going to get attacked from Syria, from Lebanon, from this, from all different, you know what it means, 150 missiles? Do you remember what was going on in the north? When they were shooting 10, 15 missiles and they were hitting army bases, how scary it was, and you couldn't hit those little guys down. They were too low and too erratic. That is gone. And then the whole thing with Syria, which is, they say Nisim happened there, that even more than the beepers, like they were able to blow up that underground manufacturing facility of missiles, and don't forget they got rid of their nuclear a few years ago. Okay, and now because Syria is not there, tzaddik. We have free path, a flight from Israel to the only way to get to Iran is through Syria, and now Syria doesn't exist. So this is all Hakadosh Baruch Hu is Mesader, October 7th, for today, to get rid of that terrible threat of the nuclear, which really keeps a lot of Yidden from coming to Eretz Yisrael, I think. The fear of, one of the fears also, I know personally, getting stuck in a country, knowing that you can't go. There's nowhere to go. There's no flights now. You can't come in, you can't come out. It's one of the fears, and we got to get rid of that also. So Be'ez Hashem, we should be zocheh to see the Nisim, the Gluyim, to recognize the Nisim Gluyim, the daily Nisim Gluyim. Get so used to it. It's like, Okay. This week's parasha, because I was learning how the Torah says, how's it possible that a Yid saw what he saw, and he still has a question about Hakadosh Baruch Hu? He saw Kriyas Yamsuf, he saw the Rebbeinu Shalom Har Sinai, he saw the man. You come out of your house and there's food there, and yet you still have a problem. You still a miragle. You still could say things about Eretz Yisrael. How's it possible? And how's it possible? So we're not seeing the same Nisim, but how's it possible you see such Nisim Gluyim of the tiniest country? If you look at the map, Iran is this big and Israel is like this big. I forgot how many times, 30 times, 60 times larger, something in sugar. And 2-3 days, they're gone, finished. God, the Imam is schmettert. They're so schmettert that Imam Shev Rachmana said them something. Imam feel bad. Like, Nebuch, such bushes. Imagine planes of another country flying over your country. Imagine if we had Iranian planes just flying over Beit Shemesh, like non-stop, going, coming, bombing, this, that. Unbelievable. 72 times the size of our country. And how many more people?
10 times.
They have 80 million people. They have 80 million people. And they have money. And they have... That's not a ness. Okay, yeah, we have 35. We're smarter. Okay. Boys, let's do a couple of emails here. First of all, a big mazel tov that there's a scene taking place in South Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's that?
The guy from the wine. What's his name again?
Cape Town or Germany?
Is this it? No, sorry. This is not it. Because I can't read well. Sorry, I apologize. I'm not reading well. This is in, what's it called over there? Not China. In Hong Kong? Oh, shkoyach. Yeah, thank you. This is, I forgot. This is, what do you call it? It's called like, no, Penny Krazel. Where's he from? I said, I read his emails. You'll see it on the, like Hong Kong. Ask Mark. Where's Mark saying? Where's he from? Penny Krazel? This is, huh? Hong Kong. You sure? This is Hong Kong, and this is South Africa. See? And they're getting together every night, Belina, there, Monday to Friday, 7:30 every morning, 7:30 a.m., and Sunday at 9 a.m. for in Cape Town for a live sheer viewing. This it sounds it works. This is more for the Hebrew because it's in Hebrew. So I'll just say regalachas that this is Rev Braverman, and I mentioned him in this week's Ami magazine. There's a few things I'll tell you about this week's Ami magazine. It talks about the safari, and Rev Braverman over here, he says it's a 4-minute video. I thought it was very nice. He sent it to me. Yes, he said to show it is very cool. That there was a guy that from a kid that came from a frum family with long hair, and he didn't want to do tshuva because he smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and basically he was trying to convince him. He said, "Listen, keep on smoking, but instead of putting out the cigarette, just put the cigarette on the side. So you, at least on Shabbos. On Shabbos, the problem, he says, how can I become a Baal Tshuva? I know that it's also to light a cigarette on Shabbos, and I'm going to have to. So I can't become a Baal Tshuva. So he said, light the cigarette, just don't put it out. He says, that's not worth anything. So he brought to Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Reb Chaim Kanievsky said, it is worth something. And so he stopped putting it out, and eventually that caused him to do tshuva because he was saying, look, I'm not putting it out, so maybe I'll smoke a little less. And today he's about tshuva. So he's saying, what? 9 months later. So he's saying that's how everything works. You have to take very small steps. Don't expect to do everything in one day. Take very small steps. You just don't put the cigarette out. Yes, you're a big rusher, you're smoking, but at least do something small. At least something small, and from the something small, I got 2 emails. The people are very surprised that I took videos of the incoming missiles. So I don't want to excuse myself or anything. Maybe what I did was wrong, but let me just explain. We got a 5-10 minute warning. The warning that you get before is much worse than the warning when it actually comes in. It's much scarier. So we all went out to the porch and we were watching these incoming missiles, and we did not have a siren by us. We didn't have. Look, you're all from Bet Shemesh. Last night there's no siren by us, and the missiles fell in Eretz Yisrael. In other words, they know. So those missiles that I was taking video of had nothing to do with us. They were nothing. It's Klal Yisrael, and I know. And a guy from Bnei Brak said, "How could you show something that actually killed somebody in Bnei Brak?" The reason why I showed it, and the real, because I give shir to the whole world, and I wanted the Americans to feel a little bit of what we're going through. You're looking outside from your window and you see projectiles coming in. It's not a simple thing. We maybe got used to it a little bit, even we're not. But I thought it's important for them to see that. Then the siren went on. Now you have there's a certain amount of time. You have like 2 minutes, a minute and a half. So that's when I went in. So the guy was like, "How can you give musr to people to go into the thing? You yourself." Okay, that's what happened.
The missiles you showed.
Maybe
the missiles of Tamra, so it's okay.
No, it was a different day. It was a different day. And actually, the people that died in Bnei Brak, I think it was in the middle of the morning. It was 4 a.m. I don't remember. Fine. No, it was yesterday. Not last night, but the night before. There's Ramat Gan. You're mixing 2 things up. There's Ramat Gan, and there was Bnei Brak, where a 75-year-old man died yesterday in Bnei Brak. Yesterday, another 10 people were killed. Anyway, the nace that we saw today is that there's 0 sirens for us. There was 5, I think, missiles in Eretz Yisrael. That means a dramatic decrease in numbers, and also we were able to sleep. Where the night before, they woke us up at 1 and at 4:20 a.m., which really ruined the whole thing for everybody. Anyway, Let me just see if there's anything else here that's very super important. This is status, Rabbi Sai. There's a lot of things here I want to read, but there's literally 15 emails, I guess, that I'm not going to read. Fine, we'll jump into this. We'll have to do it a different time. Well, let me read this from here. Yeah, it's hard to read. The Masechta sponsor, anonymous Hatzlacha bruchnius ubegashmius. Monthly sponsors Eli Dyckman, Eli Nishma, Shimon, Aryeh ben Rifka, TCS, Israel powered by TALKNSAVE. Daily sponsor, we have a brand new camera here. That, what's his name, Moshe? He's the guy that videos Reb Eli Biederman every single week. He's the guy. He spent from his own pocket $150,000 to do it. They don't pay him, and they doesn't take any money. But he came in all the way from Yerushalayim, and he let us use this camera. And it's a very, very important camera because it's on the table, and when people bang the table, there's a lot of vibration. People are banging it right now, and it's not supposed to move. It has a gimbal. So Be'ez Hashem, MDY is going to buy at least one of those cameras, so we have it for our plane and the safaris.
Sponsorship available.
Daily sponsors, Binyamin Hakemari, Lili Nishmas, my daughter. Rabbi, listen to this. Lili Nishmas, we should never have to know about these things. Lili Nishmas, my daughter, Muna Rivka Bat Binyamin, on her second yard side, she was only 20 years old. MDY Kids Monthly, Kidnovations LLC for Fishel, Elchanan, Akiva, Rifky, Mrs. Stefansky, Art of the Month, Refuah Shleima, for Yehonathan, Ben B'Shav Bracha, for Zechus, for Rebellion, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable so many, in honor of Yossi Klein Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi, we have a very, very easy and geschmack daf, like a way to ease us into Avodah Zarah.
How much is this camera?
How
much does it cost?
Okay, like $600-700. I think it's super important to have one, like, because we had a few situations where I was on the table. I'm always mindful to put a little table in front of me. But I don't know if you remember this. And also, it's very. I could push a button here, and I could go like around like this. Saying that's not what it is. The point is the gimbal. The point is that even though it is on the table,
If you let me
that's
stay,
a really.
sure, I'll pay for it.
Whoa! He's not joking. He's not joking. What happened was we had a few more people than expected last night. A lot of people wanted to come and start getting, and we couldn't. So we have to make like some sort of seder. It's only fair that we should. Okay. Anyway, we're holding on Daf Yomi Amud Aleph, and a lot of these sugyas are familiar and geschmack. So it says like this. The Mishnah says that if, let's say there's a moed b'miktzas, there's a malva and a loiva, there's a borrower and a lender, and the lender typically is the one who has to swear, he has to make a shvuah that he admitted to part of the loan, so he has to make a shvuah. But the problem is, what if he's a no goodnik? And the Mishnah gives a number of examples. What did he do wrong? And one of the things is he's a mesachek b'kubi, he plays with dice. He's a gambler. So Gemara says, what do you need another example? The Gemara says, it's very important, this example. You're talking about people that lend with ribis, that's a deraisa. People that lie when they make a shvuah, that's a deraisa. But you also have the mesachek b'kubia, which is only a psul derabanan, meaning, because Rashi says, we had a few reasons, but the reason that we're familiar with is a smachta loikanya. And that is, if you're gambling, you're not thinking that you're going to lose. You go in thinking that you're going to win. So when the other person takes your money, when he wins, he's basically taking it against your will, sort of, and there's an element of gneva there. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, if you're allowed to gamble on Chanukah, Kvitlach, and that kind of thing. And people, we discussed it just the other day, people that gamble as a living, they're not Shevuos olam, and there's people that are just, they gamble every night, but they have decent jobs, and they are Shevuos. We're not going into that. You can take that off? Oh yeah, I don't want the active track. It's a good idea, but
people already offered to pay for it.
Oh really?
That's 2 minutes.
Wow. So you can't come tonight. Okay. All right, beautiful. I hope it wasn't maybe some of the guys that went on the trip with us and they said, "Oh, we need it."
Kidnovations.
Wow. They say it's an unbelievable device. It would have been great to like video the lions out the thing. It's like smooth. Anyway, Zok Gemara. Here's my just have to find my So we had in the Mishnah, what happens if the malva and the loiva are both irresponsible when it comes to Shevuos? They both have a bad past when it comes to it. Our boys have a stammer riddle. It's not the greatest riddle. But think about it. It's worth a lot of points, this riddle. A lot of 20,000 MDY points. You hear? You know this riddle already. There's a situation where the borrower borrowed $1,000, and there's a shtar that he borrowed the money, and he's chayiv $1,000. Okay, but if you add one more shtar that the same guy is chayiv to the same person $500, he won't have to pay the 1,000. He only pays the 500. What's the case? Huh? Mix us on what? On the 1,000? On the 500? So why would he have to pay the 500, not the 1,000? If he's not he's moida kol on the 1,000, then for sure he should have to pay. You're not going to get this. This is worth 20,000. It's where the edim on the both stars are different edim, and one of them is one group are liars, and we don't know which one. You have 4 edim, 2 signed here, 2 signed here, and one group is 100% lying. So because one group is lying, so you don't have to pay the heavier star, the one with the more money on it. The 1,000 you don't pay, you only pay the 500. We'll see. More the Gesugi actually at the end. Says the Gemara like this. If both the Loiv and the Malva are Choshen and Shvuah, so we had a machlokes in the Mishnah. What do you do? Right. So first you move the Shvuah from the Loiva to the Malva, but he's also no good. So you give it back to the Loiva. That was one pshat. Or Yachloiku. So Amalei Reb Eli Rav Nachman Heichitnan. Who said what in the Mishnah? Who said Yachloiku? Is it Reb Meir or Reb Yossi? What's the nafkamina? Because anytime you have a machlokes between Reb Meir and Reb Yossi, the halacha is like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you say? I would go with the Shamji. I mean, the guess would be Reb Meir because he's like more popular, no? Nimuka Imoy. Okay, the halacha is like Reb Yossi. So we need to know if the halacha is like Reb Yossi. I mean, not if the halacha is like Reb Yossi. We need to know what he said. Did he say Yachloiku in this case, or did he say that the Shvuah goes back to the Loiva? Says the Gemara, Omalei lo yadana, I don't know. Now, this is every Magachir's dream Gemara. Itmar Omer Rav Yossi bar Yumi Omer Rav Nachman. A lot of names and the same thing. Reb Yossi Omer Yachloiku. V'chein Toni Rav Zvid bar Yishayo Reb Yossi Omer Yachloiku. Iked Amri Toni Devei Rav Zvid Omer Rav Yishayo Reb Yossi Omer Yachloiku. Omer Rav Yossi bar Yumi Omer Rav Nachman Uvda. He actually did a case and it was Yachloiku. Okay. Now, there's more Gemaras like this today. I'm telling you, it's Geshmak. Not like that. But do you guys remember Nascha de Rababa? Nascha de Rababa. What was the case of Meir? Maya case of Nascha de Rababa. Famous case. Well, it's once you hear it, you can say, oh, yeah. The case is where there's a guy, 2 people standing, and one guy grabbed the piece of silver out of his hand. And there was an aide that saw it. So he said, yeah, in chafti v'didi chatvi. It's mine. Very problematic. What do you do in that case? Does he have to pay? He can't do a shvuah because he's a shtickle ganav, but there's only one eidach. That's not schadar about. We're going to get there. It's something we learned like within the last 2 weeks. But it's a case that we should remember for Shas. So it says when you have 2 people that are both not very reliable when it comes to shtaras, so the shtar is the shvuah goes back to where it belongs. So again, you have the loiva typically has to make a shvuah. The borrower, he says he only borrowed 50, not 100. The claim is 100, he admits to half, so he has to make a shvuah. The problem is that he's a gambler. Oh, so you make the lender make the shvuah. The problem is he's a fat ganav. So what do you do now? So it goes back. The shvuah goes back to where? So it could go back to the loiva. It go back to Shamayim. Or Rabami, Rabbi Sayin Shabbavel Amro. So let's see what we have over here. You have the malva and the loiva. You have the borrower and the lender. The lender's on the right, the borrower's on the left. The loiva is holding dice. I told Yoshi it's nervayim this dice because there's 2 3s on it. So he has to make a shvuah. Why? Because he's in Ma'adim Mikzas. Because the claim was that he owes 100 and he admits to 50. So Ma'adim Mikzas. So what do? We take the shvuah and we give it to the malva. The problem is the malva is a shtikol ganav. So what do? The shvuah goes to Sinai. In other words, what? It goes to Sinai. So nothing happens. Nobody pays. That it's as if there's no shvuah here. There's nothing to do. It goes to Sinai, and Sinai means that we're mechuyev not to steal. We said Hakadosh Baruch Hu told us l'sigzol kidnapping not, but the Torah says that you shouldn't steal. So don't steal. We tell you you're not allowed to steal. Now what happened? Nothing. I said I only owe 50, so pay 50. You don't have to pay the rest. But if it goes back to you, not to Sinai, then you would have to pay the rest. Why? Because you mechuyev shvuah, and you can't swear. So, okay, so too bad. You have a way out. Swear, but you can't swear, so you have to pay. Sinai means you don't have to pay. That's what Sinai means. Don't pay or do pay. I was just thinking, Stam, because it's very interesting. Our good friend Avi is debating, even though it's a little dangerous. But that's how people are coming in and out, through Sinai now. It's basically the only way to get into the country. It's through. I once flew through Jordan. Back in the day, I don't think it was dangerous. It was a good flight. And you fly from Eretz Yisrael into Jordan, so you're in the airport. So like airports usually are, that's why I used to go to Turkey a lot back in the day. Okay, so but I heard a lot of Hasidim buses, and they go all the way to Ari, which is stuck here. They go, where is it? You know what I say? Okay. We're not saying share. He said.
Are we safer to go through Iran these days?
Oh, there's a Mordecai Rashi. I hope I put it in here. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I put the Rashi in here. Look at it. I didn't show it yesterday. Thank you. The Sinai, the Shevuos HaSinai, Shishbia Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael Ali Sigzol, and says Rashi Mardek Yishkor Mendi, Vehu Yifra Bin HaKoifer Mamen L'Chaveiroi. I said the story and in the wrong place. Okay, Hakadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of it. Don't worry about it. That's what it says here. Sinai means Hashem will take care of it. I think it was the Chavetz Chaim. He used to tell people would say, I went to the Dintar and the Dayan messed up. Like everybody says, yeah? When it's against you, he messed up. You lose, he messed up. So you tell people, the Medrash says, there's no such thing as losing in the Dintar. No such thing. The Dayan took money out of your pocket and he gave it to that guy. First of all, that guy's going to lose that money. And second of all, you're going to gain the money. It might not be today, you might not see it. But all of a sudden you get a deal somewhere and you don't have. It's that money that you lost in the Dintar in Shalom Yisrael. It's a medrash. It's not. You can't fight it. The Dayan doesn't have the right to take money that's yours. So he did it. So you don't understand him. You're upset at him. But it's not coming out of your pocket. Don't worry about it. And that's what Rashi says over here. It goes to Sinai. Of a bezdin ain't niskakim. The bezdin doesn't deal with it. And they're not going to do anything. Don't worry. Hashem has his ways. It all comes back at the end of the day. So the Gemara. Imagine, no, you think you made a lot of money, and all of a sudden your car, an accident, the transmission, if you still drive regular cars, whatever it is, something happens in Nerva, tickets, and even worse things. We're not going to go there. Okay, so the Gemara says, so now, here's the big question, Shamshi. Who's Rebbe, without looking in the Gemara, because I know you did. So if you don't know who Rebbe Bavel is, and you don't want to wait until the next 3 lines, we have a Monopoly game that tells us exactly who these people are. It's from Sanhedrin Daf Yomi in Amud Beis, remember, and it's the whole Rabbi Seinu Shebebavel is coming up right here. Oh, Rabbi Seinu Shebebavel is Rabbi Shmuel, and who is Rabbi Seinu Sheberetz Yisrael? Rabbi Abba. It's interesting rules that Shas has. Rabbi Seinu, it's plural, is one person, Rabbi Abba. Anyway, it says Gemara. Rabbi Seinu Shebebavel, who's that? Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Seinu Sheberetz Yisrael, Rabbi Abba. Rabbi Shmuel, when Yisoim come to collect the money, they need to swear. And we asked, Miman, who are they collecting money from? If their father lent money to a guy, their father, before he died, he gave $1 million to Ruvain, and now they come to Ruvain, it doesn't make any sense that they should have to swear. Their own father went to Ruvain, would go to Ruvain and take the $1 million from him. Why? There's a shtar. They also have a shtar. Why should they have to swear? When there's two groups of Yisayimim, both fathers died, the Malv and the Loiva, does it make a difference who died first? The Gemara is going to say yes. But when there's two Yisayimim at each other, they both don't know anything. They don't know if it was paid back or not. So they have to make a Shevuah. And what are they going to say in the Shevuah? They can't literally get up in Bezdin and say, Bezdin, my father wasn't paid back. They can't do that. Maybe he was. Maybe the guy wired the money into his account, and they have no clue. Your kids know who paid you back and not? Nobody knows. So all they can swear is to the best of our knowledge. That's an interesting short. To the best of our knowledge, we don't know that he was paid back. We're trying to find out who are these chachamim that said this halacha, that the Shevuah goes back to Sinai. In other words, nobody swears. It's Rav and Shmuel. Why? Because Rav and Shmuel explained this. They say, it's only when the malva dies before the loiva. But if the loiva dies first, that's halacha, that if the malva dies, the loiva dies first, then the malva has to swear to the kids of the loiva, to the borrower, that he didn't get paid. The problem is that you cannot give a loan over to your children that requires a shvuah. So now we have a thing. The Yisayimim can't swear because they have no idea about what they're swearing about. Both Yisayimim can't swear. So now it's Metoich Sheni Yochel Shava. So the loiv is not, no, I'm sorry, it's not Metoich Sheni Yochel Shava. It goes back to Sinai. There's nothing you can do. You have two Yisayimim against each other. They both can't swear. So it goes back to Sinai. What's Pshat goes back to Sinai? Because Baruch is going to take care of it. But you cannot be nishba. There's nothing they can swear about. So who's mechulik on this? The one to be mechulik. What's the svar to be mechulik? To be mechulik, not mechulik. To be mechulik, to say that since you can't swear, so pay. That's what Teshari Yechol Shav Mishal. Rabbi said Yisrael Rebbe Abba. That must be Rebbe Abba. The Ugaver the Chot of Naschem Mechavrei. The famous story of Naschem the Rebbe Abba. Here, it's a Musig in Shas, I think. Naschem the Rebbe Abba. What happened? There was a bar of silver, and one friend grabbed the bar of silver from the other one. Also, the Kamei de Rabami. So they came to Rabami. Yossi Rababa Kamei, and happens to be Rababa was sitting there watching the whole thing. So he produced one witness that said, "I saw that he grabbed the bar of silver." Yes, I grabbed it, but it's mine. I have all the right to grab my own stuff. What should a dayan do over here? There's nothing to do. If you tell the grabber, give back the bar of silver, like a tresadi. But there's no two witnesses. You can only force somebody to pay based on two witnesses. Niftarei, to say he doesn't have to do anything, but we can't let him just go scot-free. There's one aid that says that he grabbed it. And to say that he should go and swear, we have a big problem. He's already puzzled for Shevuah. He's like a gazlan. There's a Chavetz Chaim says a mashal. He says a guy was expecting a package from the post office, and it didn't show up. He lived in a certain country that the mail doesn't work so well. No. It's a parsha of the Meraglim. We're not going to go. So he decided he goes to the post office himself, and he says he's going to grab whatever package he wants. They owe him a package. So he goes in, and he jumps over the counter, and he grabs the package. On his way out, the two federal cops, whatever they are, they grab him, they lock him up, and they put him in jail. And then they look at the box, and they see that it says his name on it. He said, it doesn't matter. You don't come into the post office grabbing stuff. So, but it's mine. In chatvi v'di chatvi. So he says, in this world also, sometimes people think they're going to be chevermanim. They're going to steal a little bit. They're going to be a little tricky. They're going to do a little I called up Mayor Dambi 2 weeks ago at 12:38 p.m. I said that I need a certain price on a piece of real estate here that he's selling. So he writes back to me. He says, "Talk to me on Sunday. I don't do business after Chatzos." He answered me one answer that he was being polite. He said, "But for others, because at the end of the day, you have to understand it's not gonna. I have a thing. So Stefansky wants. I go to his shir. Big deal. I have Chatzos after 12:30. I think it was 12:32. I missed it by 6 minutes. After Chatzos, I don't do business. You could be tricky. It's mamish l'tzarich gadol. So I will answer him. I'll try to what? It's mamish for Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. He already has excuses. But in chatvi, you're still going to go to jail. You don't chap. Don't wait until it's going to show up. Patience. It's going to the parnasa will get there. It's the same idea as before. Okay.
You never called me after.
It's not my job. You're the real estate agent. I'm waiting. It was the hint. Not that I didn't forget. You see, I didn't forget. Fine. I said, no, but sure. Akash Baruch Hu showed me that's not the right piece of real estate for me. No. Zog the Gemara.
That's his?
He's not a Ganav.
Why is he not a Ganav?
He grabbed it.
Yeah, no. You say that, but he did a maisa of, he did an act of.
Really find answers after Chatzos.
Don't look at what the result is. What is the action?
It's not that he did come to Messiah. It's at the end of Russia.
Again, what he's making a shvuah that he didn't, I guess something like that. That he didn't grab, but he's making a shvuah against the aid.
He can't make a shvuah against the aid because he's saying, "I agree with you. I did that."
But the Gemara doesn't say the lashon of the Gemara is that he's puzzle like he's a bad guy. You hear? But no, the Gemara says that he's a bad guy. He's a choytev. How do they kick Gazlan? It doesn't say that we're worried that he's lying to the aid. It's more that something's wrong with him. I see Rashi. Only Rebaba. So here comes Naschad the Rebaba. So Rebaba says, he really should swear. The problem is he can't swear. Should we put this on here? Is it on?
It is on.
No, this guy. This is the house one and this is the backup. Here. So, you're not hot, Mendy? Oh, shit. Here, you take it when it gets too cold because it's probably going to blow on you. So that he says, that's our case over here where a person is, you have two people that can't swear. One is a gambler, one is a ganav, let's say. So the gambler should have made a shvuah. He can't. So he gives but now there's no shvuah. So since he can't swear, mishalem. We have a video here. This is Rabbi Sanhedrin Rebaba from Rabbi Naschad the Rebaba. We have a little throwback to all those windows. If they don't look. Sorry. It's really for Noam and you also. 3 of you.
I'll give $10,000 to MDY if I spot a kill right now.
Yes, come on, let's see.
Wow, you won't believe this.
Let me see.
Hey, those are my binoculars.
What? No way, these are mine.
This is exactly the case we're studying on the Daf, Nesachat Rebbe Abba. The din is...
Oh, quiet, you. We paid $30,000 for this moment. Don't ruin it with your learning now.
The kill that they saw was only a mouse. Okay. Oy vey. I didn't notice that part. Okay, that part we should take out a little bit. So, no, you're so anti. The Israelis would have enjoyed this? No. The idea is more ridiculous. Omar Rava. So Rava says, I like Rebaba. That what? If you can't swear, you have to pay. The Tana Rebami, Shevuos Hashem, Tia ben Shneim. When it talks about the Shevuah of the Shoimrim, but Hashem Yisachar that watch, he has to swear that he didn't do anything wrong. And he has to do, the Shevuah is ben Shneim. Who's Shneim? The two Bali Dover. The Shoimer, the Balabayis, the two Bali Dover. Veloy ben Ayarshim darshans. But not between the next generation. Let's say he's a classic moed b'miktas. He says, your father owes my father 1,000. So he says, no, it's not 1,000, it's only 500. So he's moed to half. But he seems to know his stuff. He's not, I don't know what my father, he says, no, I know for a fact, my father only owes you 500, not 1,000. So my malihu mali avos, he's a real moed b'miktas, he should have to make a shvuah. Your father owes my father 1,000. And he says yes to 50, but I don't know the other 50. So what do you do when you don't know the other 50? So if you say that would be a raya to Reb Abba. Since I don't know, you're not denying it. You don't know. You just don't know. So Daf Mem Zayin Amud Beis on top. If you say that because he can't swear he has to pay, now I understand why I need a special pasuk that says Bein Shneim v'loy b'nei Yarshim, that the father is chayiv. Why is he chayiv? Because he can't swear. But that same exact case when it comes to the Yarshim, they wouldn't be chayiv. That's why I need a pasuk. Eli Amr's aviv ki gavna nami potter, but if the father's potter, so then certainly the Yarshim. So you see that the father is chayiv. Why is the father chayiv? Because this idea of mitoich she'eni yochel l'shava, since he can't swear, mishalim, who's that like? That's Reb Abba. It's a great riot to Reb Abba. And now we have turning in the daf. They're still stuck. It's not a pashta thing. Kidnovations LLC, in honor of our sons Kalmo and Yisrael, for learning Sanhedrin Makkos and Shevuos to Reb Eli. Adar Global, making answering questions great again. Anonymous, in honor of all the holy tzaddikim that work so hard to bring us the daf every day with no credit given. Enough said. Matomer? Oh. Rabbi Yossi, I gotta stop here for a second. Sometimes I forget, sometimes I don't. But we only have 2 days left to Masechet Shevuos. 2 days. And I'm not just saying this. If you go back to Shevuos, go back to everything is taped. How many times I speak about Masechet Shevuos? We got to get guys for Masechet Shevuos. Maybe once or twice. I didn't push it, so you have to trust me. I'm telling you now that Masechet Avodah Zarah, Masechet Avodah Zarah is an easy Masechta. It's Gishmak Masechta. It's the perfect Masechta for the situation that we're in right now. We have people trapped in Kafrisin, in Cyprus. We have soldiers on the line. We have pilots. Imagine being a 18-year-old pilot, a 19-year-old pilot flying into Iran thinking that if he gets shot down, they have capabilities. Not only is he not going to see the light of day, but his life is going to be pretty miserable. It's a pachad. Yeah. So there's people in Klai Yisrael in pachad. There's people that hundreds of people got injured from this thing. Lost their homes. My cousin Stefansky in Bnei Brak, he showed me the home that he lived in 2 months ago. He went in there. It's gone, obliterated. That's the home that he used to live. He had a Maisa almost happened. Somebody else had the Maisa. But people died, 8 or 10 just yesterday, 10 the day before. Shuls destroyed. So anyways, people, take upon yourself to learn a little bit more Torah. Torah Maslo Magno, and it's a great Masechta to start. Try 2 daf. You're going to love it. You'll never have charata. You know how many emails I got about that? I realized I'll talk about that also. There's a lot of different types of personalities, and there's people that take words very literal, and it really hurts them. And I have to be more sensitive to that. I'm more of a more of a he said this, that, and they have a good point. But some people, it really irks them. Wow, you said do avodah zarah. How could you even have a havamin? And some guy says, no, what's the big deal? So people and people. They might be right in this case. Zog the Gemara. The Rav Shmuel, those who argue, so why do they need the pasuk that this whole chiddush that has to do with Yisrael? They argue. Rav and Shmuel hold that the Shmuel goes to Sinai. There is no mishalim. The fakert, they don't pay. There's no, when you have a stalemate, nobody could swear, so nobody pays. So what do they do with this pasuk? It's literally agad the Rabbi Yisrael. It is. Look at the sign Yeshim ben Tarfin Oimer. Shevuos Hashem tiye ben Shneim, melamed shashvuah chola al Shneim. This is also chazara. Rabbi Yisrael, unbelievable chazara. That when there is a shvuah taken here, and somebody lies, so the lender, who has nothing to do with the lie, he's also responsible. Why? Because on the Lamed Tes, if you recall, Toisus Baruch Hashem brings it. Yeah. Yeah, you have to check out. It's unbelievable. I know that I was over on this. It's a big problem. It's very hurtful for me. This thing, because you could say all you want all day. The Refuah Shleima fears the Veld, and you got stuck with this guy. It says in Rashi, no, here, look at this Rashi. You get a oynish. Not only did he take your money and he's swearing falsely, you get a punishment. Yeah, maybe. So you claim, say, listen, this guy's a big Russia, and you go to the newspaper with it. You're creating a Chil Hashem. It's unbelievable. You hear this? It's your fault there's a Chil Hashem here.
That's new pshat in the Mishnah. Echad shoyged u'echad mezer b'chil Hashem. Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. The mezer is the liar. The shoyged is I didn't know.
Yeah, he's talking shoyged. You should have done a little bit more research. It's unbelievable. You know, these girls that you take into your seminary, you should have checked a little more. No, Bahamas. We learned it about Shidduchim also. There's a taino. Why didn't you look better into this person that married your kid? There's a certain time. Yes, Shidduchim min hashamayim is that. But you, on your level of ishtalus, you have to do the full ishtalus. Of course, if you do full ishtalus and then something happens, then it's Hashem. I'm going back to here. Yeah, thank you. I'm not even paying. He's sitting over here, Avrami, and he's pushing the buttons. No, I don't need this one. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. That's why. It's reverse button. Sorry. If you help out somebody to do an isser of niyuf, you make some phone calls for him, you make the shidduch for him, you're also over on niyuf. It's not, he did the aveira, you organized for a guy to get his avodah zara. You made the Amazon order. You're over on avodah zara, it says over here. Minayin tamulay mar lisinov. You could read it loisanif. Don't cause somebody else to do niyuf.
You need to tell me Merubah, so if you bring somebody to the daf.
Oh. If you help somebody do an aveira, there's an isser of that exact aveira. If you help, says Shamshi, if you help somebody come to the daf, which he brought many, including Shapsi Cohen, who brought hundreds. What?
Mendy should put a status.
Mendy.
You can have my phone. You can put it on.
Okay. We're going to get, those who don't know, we should have a special service. For those who don't know how to do status, we'll do it for you. I said in the English, I'm sure I said, Yaakov Shafnes, Baruch Shafnes' brother, got up here in front of everybody. I did say it. You got a chazer over Nachamol. It's kedai. I said, show me how to do status. We weren't planning this. In 2 seconds, he showed everybody. He went to the status bot. He went to the bot and wrote the word status. And then he put in a status. 5 people joined this year because of him. 5. He's not a person that's magzim. Vaterognu ba'aleichem. It's mamish parshas hashavua. This pasuk happens to be in Devarim, but parshas hashavua is about the meraglim. And Moshe Rabbeinu says vaterognu ba'aleichem. Terognu is more of a lashon like the article calls it spying, but it's more like talking bad about it. So Shimon ben Tarfin Omer. So the question the Gemara is really bothered by is, what does it mean in your tents? In your tent, that's where you did the regal. That's where you spoke bad about Eretz Yisrael. What does that have to do with your tent? So says the Gemara, Shimon Tarfin Omer, Tartim v'ginisim ba'alei shel makom. Ba'aleichem is who? It's not your tent. Your tent is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's tent. In other words, when you speak about Eretz Yisrael, you're actually poking fun at the Refuah Shleima. It's not the country, the land. You're saying bad about Hashem. That's his pshat. Adanor agodal nar pros. These Rishon Arurim, because it just goes through my mind every time I read it. From the river to the sea, they say, yeah. And you ask them, what river? They don't know. What sea? Nothing. Over here we're talking about Adanor agodal nar pros. Also, the Gemara is bothered, I believe, by the word hagadol. Because Nahar Pras is not the large one. There's larger than Nahar Pras. There's a Kidekel that's larger. There's different ones that are. So why is it called Gadol? So the Gemara says, when you come close to somebody that's full of good smelling oil, like good perfume, you give somebody your soap in the mikvah, you get a piece of soap stuck to your hand. Yeah? Give that bar of soap. It's another thing you're not supposed to lend to somebody. There's such a lashon. I heard Hasidim say it. You give somebody a bar of soap in the mikvah, you're going to have a little soap stuck to your hand. I think it's a beautiful thing here. Beautiful. I'll tell you why. I once got in trouble for saying this, but I'll try to say it in a nicer way. I'm part of a shul, in a gorgeous shul in Chicago. I have a house in Lincolnwood. So the shul in Lincolnwood taught me a very big yesod about life. There's a lot of successful young guys there. I'm talking about young guys, under 30, but a lot. Like a meshuggah number compared to the rest of the world. Disproportionate. I don't know if there's a single guy that dies in the shul, besides the Rav, that's not a multimillionaire. It's just, it's interesting. So you think, what's going on here? These are great guys, the Bali Chesed, and they learn. They have shiurim before davening. It's a great place. The Rav there, Rabbi Fine, he speaks well, and he's moeded the guys. But I learned the yesod from there, that when you are in a chabura of people that do certain things, it rubs off on you. From people in general are matzliach, because there's a certain environment. If your whole environment, you work at McDonald's and you make minimum wage, then you that's how you grow up. This is what you do. When everybody in your environment is a multimillionaire, so what's the big deal? I mean, I'm a lot smarter than that guy. I have more talent than that guy, and I come from this and this family than that guy. So why shouldn't I do it? And it taka works. You find out what he's doing, and you mimic the same thing. You do this. Some do it, and they're not all in the same business. Not all in nursing homes. They're different. Some in real estate. Some here. This. And then I came here to Eretz Yisrael, and I saw the same exact thing. It hit me. This idea that on this block you have somebody like Reb Eli Kramer who knows Kol HaShas, Kol HaTorah Kulo Klor. You have Rabbi Pessin, another one. You have Rabbi Mantros. You have like one after another. It's a one block. They all dive in your shul. And you see, they say, wait a minute. So maybe Shas is not I used to think it's only in Bnei Brak, or Chorvash Bam 10. No, there's people that within our community that are the mamish, they're elevated people. So it rubs off in a way. I think there's certain things that you can learn from them. I'll never forget, Reb Pessin's wife told me when I moved there, and it stuck to me. She goes, yeah, my husband only sleeps 2 hours a night. And really? So you could sleep 2 hours a night? I thought it's something for the Vilna Gaon. No, so I took from there that I don't have to sleep as much. I don't sleep 2 hours a day, but I learned from there. Here, he does it, so maybe I could try a little less sleep. Little things that rub off from hanging out with great people. The idea is to find yourself good people, good mentors, good, because whatever it is, it rubs off. So Zog the Gemara, and I'm not chas v'shalom putting down Lincolnwood. Fakir, these are tremendous people, and they live in America and v'chulu. But this idea of you feel what I'm saying? In our shul, you could be davening there, and there's 3 people that know Kol HaTorah Kula, which I never knew before. Like this. Zog the Gemara. The Be'er B'Shmuel Tana Eved Melech. When you're the slave of a king, Kim Melech, people treat you like a king. The Ramban says, based on these 3 words, Eved Melech Kim Melech, he says that's why the Torah says that you shouldn't have another. Why? Because people might think that the slave of a king is a king. You have to give a lot of covet to the Gabbai of the Rebbe, to the this. No, but don't worship him. Don't worship the son. The son is the Eved of the Melech. Oh, but I'm giving covet to Rebbeinu Shalom by worshiping his slave. Says the Torah, no. There's only one entity that you worship. You don't worship the slave of the Eved. Zog Gemara. And another thing that I like to mention a lot, and I think people should pay attention, it's kedai to remember, a melech, with all his chariots and all his gold and his silver, a melech that lived 500 years ago, has not even 1% of the conveniences that we have in our life. They didn't even have a toilet. They didn't have running water. They didn't have air conditioning. They didn't have a car. Garnish. If he wanted to go from here to to Haifa, take him 4 days on a donkey. And he was the king, but he had nothing. And still we don't have enough, and it's never enough. So what happened, Lama? We have two people, it's a story of three people, right? We have the employer who tells his employee to go to a store and get stuff there, and he promises the store owner that he's going to pay him back. We have a store owner that wants to get paid back, and we have an employee that says that he never got paid. They both come to the employer and say, we want money. They both make a Shevuos, and they get money. And the poor employer has to pay twice. So asks Rebbe, but one guy's lying here. But Rebbe is the one that wrote this in the Mishnah. Rebbe is the author of the Mishnah, and he wrote in the Mishnah that they both swear. So Omar le Reb Chia Baraba or whatever, Tanina, you wrote Shnei Nishboim V'Noitim Balabayas. You wrote, don't you forgot? It seems like that's the halacha. Both swear. So Gemara says, did Rebbe accept the fact that he wrote it and that the halacha? So which way is the halacha? What does Rebbe say? No shvuah at all, or two shvuahs? What do we do? Tashma, the sign Rebbe Omer, Poyalim Nishboim Lechenveni. It doesn't say that they swear to the balabais. It says the workers should swear to the makolet owner. Why? So Rashi explains because the makolet owner should have given him the stuff in front of Adam. There's a little bit of fault. The Misa, and if Rebbe holds like our Mishnah, it should have said that you swear to the employer, not to the makolet owner. The pshat is that they swear to the employer, yes, to the employer, but the store owner should be there. Why? I saw with my own eyes when I had my big maisa here in Eretz Yisrael, and one of my close relatives was in a little bit of a pickle, and there was basically a fight between, two teenagers were fighting, and the police got involved. So they had my relative say the story, and he said, "This is what happened." So the guy, the detective looks at him and says, "That's not what happened." The other guy said the exact opposite. That you started. No, so he started. You started. He says, "No, this is what happened." She says, "Okay, wait here 1 minute." They bring the other guy, the enemy. They bring him out and they put him face to face. Okay, say what happened. They tell this relative, say it. And he had to look at him in his eye and say the story the way he just told the detective. And the detective is watching him to see if there's any changes, any flinching or anything. And that's what it says over here. Say the story, say it the way it is, but in front of the makolet guy. I want to hear you say that you went into the makolet and he didn't give you any food. He threw you out. You say it. You can tell me, I'm the detective. I want to say, but say it in front of the store owner himself. Itmar, shteiki de'edim ha'makhish zu azu. Rabbi say it's very simple. The sugya, mamish simple. Oh, I didn't show you the Nahar Pros. Okay, this is what we have over here. We have 4 edim: Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Cat 1, cat 2. Pair 1, pair 2. Now look what happens. They have a big problem because they testified. 2 said that Yosef killed somebody, and 2 said Yosef didn't kill somebody. 2 of them are complete liars. We can't trust them for anything. So if they're signees on a shtar that says that so-and-so owes $1,000, throw it in the garbage. So we have 4 cases, the Gemara says over here, that could be problematic, or there's interesting halachas here. Look, case number 1, it's very small. Avremi, I wonder if you could make this larger for me. I can barely read this. Shkoyach, Avremi. Wow, 2 seconds from over there. God owes Usher whatever he owes Usher. There's a Malvin Aloiva. You see a Malvin Aloiva. Who signed on the Malvin Aloiva on this first thing? Reuven and Shimon. Yisachar and Zvulun also have a thing going between them, that Yisachar owes Zvulun $1,000. The problem is that between Usher, between the shtar on the right and the shtar on the left, 2 of the Edom are complete liars, and you can throw it in the garbage. So what do we do? No, what would you do? What? All of them are no good, or all of them are good? Okay. So the Gemara says, so it's machlokes. Good, whatever. It's machlokes. Either it's all no good or all good. Because we take each case individually. So let's see inside. First of all, step number 1 is that they argue about if somebody killed somebody, didn't kill somebody, l'mashal, so they're liars. And then we have 2 Omer Avuna, Zu ba b'fnei atzmo mida, Zu ba b'fnei atzmo mida. Like in this case over here, there's a complete case, different case that they Reuben and Shimon testify that God and Asher, whatever the names are over here, owe $1,000. Levi and Yehuda testify that Yisach and Zvulun owe $1,000. It's two separate cases. So I accept their edus. So let me ask you a question. It's a simple question, but we have to think about it. What happens if you take Reuven and pair him up with Levi? One from this group and one from this group, put them together, and they sign on a shtar. Good shtar or no good shtar? No good shtar. For sure, not good. That's a case that everybody will have to agree that's no good. The only reason why it's good is because they have nothing to do with each other. Reuben and Shimon came on Monday to Bezdin, and Levi and Yehuda came on Tuesday. So we'll pretend that if we take each case individually, it's a good case. Right, exactly. Mamish similar to the Shnei Shvilim. Rav Chizda Omar, the fork, there's definitely a body underneath of Tuma, and he walked on both of them. But if you look at each case individually, he went to the Beis Hamikdash and he used Toivel, and then he went or whatever. It's different. But if he did it in one shot, then he's for sure Tomei. Okay. Rav Chizda Omar Bahadis Hadi Shakri Lamali, but they're for sure liars. Shnei Malvim, Shnei Loivim, Shnei Shtaros. Now there's two Malvim, two Loivim, and two Shtaros. Hainu Pluktayu. Oh, so that's this case over here, right? We're showing a Malva, his name is Asher, another Malva, his name is Zvulun. A Loiva, his name is Gad, and a Loiva, his name is Zechus. So we have two cases of everything, two stars, everything's separate, but we know that two of these Eidim signed in the star are liars. So that's the Machlokes. According to Rav Chizda, throw everything into the garbage. According to Rav Huna, everything is perfect. Malva v'Loiva u'shnei shtaros. Oh, so this is the kash I asked you in the beginning of this year. Let's see it in how it works. Oops. Okay. Here. It's the same exact malva and the same loiva. It's the same bar, the same lender, but the borrower twice from the borrower twice from the same lender. Different amount of money, and each star has different edim. So if you notice, one star has $1,000 on it, one star has $500. The problem is that they're both testifying. All four Eidim are testifying for one lender. So now he has a big problem. Because one cat, one group of Eidim is for sure a liar. So what do we do in this case? We have to get rid of one. And which one are we going to get rid of? The higher amount. That's the riddle. It's not the greatest riddle, but okay.
So he stays at 500.
He says it's $500. He loses $1,000 in this case. Huh?
Yeah.
יש לך מצב מה?
In what?
He owes
He's gonna owe
500, that's for
500.
sure.
No. I don't think you understood.
Yeah.
He owes 1,000 plus 500. It's two separate alvas. It's not the Yishbachlam Masayim Mana.
Yeah, but
It's 1,000. The total amount that he really owes, if there wouldn't be 80 sheker, you'd have to pay 1,500.
okay, but 500.
Right? Can be mechayev. But it's not the 500 within the 1,000. Yeah, it's different. Okay. Yeah. Malva v'loiv shnei shtaros, yad bal shtar al tachtoina. So the malva who has two stars here, he loses out. He has to give up the more expensive star. The not the expensive. How do you say? What's a good word in English? The more valuable star, the higher amount star. Whatever. Okay, you get it. Shnei malvim v'loiv echad u'shnei shtaros. Now we have two people asking for money from the same person. That's literally chaveni al ben kasai. You have the employee who says, I went to the Makolit, I got 1,000, I didn't get anything from the Makolit. You have the owner of the Makolit says, I gave him $1,000, and they both come back to the employer and they want $1,000 each. Hainu masnisen, let's see. That's what pops up, okay. There's a big delay here, Avremi. It doesn't like go to the next slide right away, like it's 3-4 seconds. Maybe there's something you could do, go in there. We have two malvas, one on the right, one on the left, Osher and Zvulun, one loiv in the center. He borrowed money from two different people. And there's two different Eidim here. What do we do? That's the Mishnah. Shnei loivin umalva echad. Oh, and this is how we're going to finish today's shir. This case is a little different. It's the reverse. Two borrowers, one lender. And each borrower has a different shtar. Now what do you do? So look at this. I just did this real quickly. The question is it similar to the case of two malvas, and each one will get whatever? Or is it similar to when you have the four Eidim testifying for one person? How do we view it? And then for that, the Gemara says, Teiku, Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the Zechus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.